we didn't know much about it at the time. We were just told at briefing that we were going to Holland, low level, and drop food to the starving Dutch. And that is about as much as we knew, except that we were going to fly at 500 feet. And the first 2 days of operations, a treaty hadn't been signed with the Germans to safeguard our passage to drop food.
Operation Manna took place right at the end of the war, starting on the 29th of April and running through to VE Day, which was the 8th of May. So that last week of the war, continuously through that last week, Bomber Command was dropping food supplies into Holland.
The northwest part of Holland was cut off, although it was still occupied by the Germans, and they were under still German military rule, and they were starving. There had been strikes on the railways and in other parts of social life, and people were starving at the rate of thousands a day. They were really starving to death. They got to a desperate state where they were cutting down trees in roads for fuel. They were eating cats and dogs and rats. Things were bad. They even got down to eating and making flour out of tulip bulbs.
Across Europe there is a serious shortage of food, but in northern Holland this is exacerbated by the fact that that part of the country is effectively cut off from everywhere else by Allied advances elsewhere. So it's not able to get food supplies from anywhere else, and it cannot sustain itself on the crops then being grown in Holland. So the population, which of course comes second to the German garrison in terms of food supplies, is getting almost nothing.
When we were briefed to drop food, we all thought to ourselves, at least, here we are now doing something humanitarian. After all, we had been, in our case, 33 flights, we had dropped bombs to help destroy the German Nazi regime. And that was the object of our exercise. But now, of course, we were doing something totally different. We were dropping food to the starving people of Holland. And it gave us a good feeling, that, we are doing something humanitarian. We're looking after helping people instead of destroying them. So it was a good feeling.
I think in many respects it did seal the war for them. They felt that the war had been fought to preserve and indeed liberate civilized life in Europe, and they were literally preserving life, whereas previously, in order to achieve that end, they'd had to destroy life.
Some of the good things we did see, of course, was the Dutch people running out to get the food. The people were waving handkerchiefs, sheets. There was the words tobacco, Dutch for tobacco. This is what they wanted because they hadn't got any. The boys, of course, themselves, we used to have a sweet ration when we went flying. It was a bar of chocolate and a bit of chewing gum or something. We threw these out of the aircraft windows, up the front and down the back. I threw mine out. And that was, just a little gesture.